Hello, we're going to do Zecher bereishis, the covered Shabbos Kodesh, first shelach. And we finished alligators individually, and we finished crocodiles. Today we're going to do an animal called a caiman, which lives in South America. It looks, basically to me, it looks exactly like an alligator, so I don't know why it's a different species, but it is. There are 7 species of caimans. Most of them are small, not more than 7.5 feet long, which is not small. But there is one that's, the exception is the black caiman. The black caiman is as long as 18 feet, which is as long as the biggest alligators. And but they're different. They are different than alligators. They're much more aggressive than the American alligator. Hashem gave them sharp eyesight and hearing so they could catch their food to eat. And Hashem gave them strong bony plates on their belly and on the back, including 8 bony scutes on the back of their neck, which is like armor and helps protect them from their the predators on them. Now you might think that who's going to start up with them? But they have 2 predators that are bigger than they. They have jaguars, which are huge, like tigers. In Asia, that's what jaguars are in South America. Big, heavy cats, and they can kill even a large caiman, even though they're probably attacking most of the smaller ones. And also the longest snake in the world, the anaconda, lives in South America, in the big rivers over there, and they can wrap themselves around and squeeze to death a caiman also, and swallow it. Even though when you look at the snake, it doesn't look like it's big enough to, it's huge, but it doesn't look like it's big enough to swallow a caiman. In any case, they have this bony armor which helps them somewhat, and they have very tough skin, and a lot of them are left alone by people because their skin does not make good handbags and shoes and belts like the crocodiles in Asia do, in Africa. So people leave them alone, and they flourish because of that. And there are 3 pictures here. They just basically show them swimming in the water and the algae. See how well camouflaged they are? There is a lizard called a tegu lizard. It's a large lizard that lives in South America, and they can't eat caimans, but they eat 80% of the caiman nests are destroyed by these lizards who eat up their eggs. Sometimes the female caimans will make a nest together in order to defend their eggs against the tegu lizards. There are also 3 species among the 7 species of caimans. I said there was 7 or 8, whatever it was. 7. So 3 of them are dwarf caimans, and I don't think they're much more than 3 or 4 feet long. And Hashem made their bodies, more heavily armored than the big caimans, to give them extra protection from their predators because they're small size, and they are more in danger from many predators than the big ones are. And also they live in fast-flowing streams, and that armor, the extra armor they have on their bodies, helps protect them from the sharp rocks that they bang against as they're swimming in these fast-moving waters. The 3 dwarf caiman species spend a lot of time on land, and some of them even, to sun themselves, they will even climb trees. And there's one, the Schneider's dwarf caiman, that lives in burrows dug into the stream banks. Now they will bury themselves deep in the mud during the really hot, dry season to keep cool, because mud is like water. It doesn't get as hot or as cold as dry land. The caiman, like I told you, looks like an American alligator, but it's more aggressive. I have 2 pictures here to show you now. The top one is a baby caiman, and it's interesting looking. The head is huge, but the body, it looks like it's bigger than the body. And the bottom one is a caiman, a black caiman that he got stuck somewhere in some kind of riverbed that dried up. He's like looking for water. Now I'm going to show you a picture of a, it's a sad picture, but, well, actually, let me just read the last couple of things. The biggest rodents in the world live in South America. They're called capybaras, and that is a favorite food for black caimans. They get up to be 140 pounds, I believe, the capybaras. Can you imagine that? It's like a cousin of a mouse, but it weighs 140 pounds. It's huge. Now, also the caimans are the noisiest of all crocodilians. They make all types of sounds. They growl and they croak and they snort and they snuffle. And especially during the mating season, or if it's wounded, it will let out thunderous roars. Now, here's a picture of a 7.5-foot long caiman that has been caught by a 19-foot long anaconda snake. And there's no hope for this caiman. Okay, now we're going to do the last of our series of crocodilians. It's called a gharial, G-H-A-R-I-A-L, or a gavial. And it's very different looking than the other crocodiles in the crocodilian family. It's very big. It can be as long as 20 feet long. It lives in India, in the big rivers over there. And I don't know if they're such a danger to people, because Hashem gave them, as you'll see in the pictures, they have very long, narrow snouts with a lot of teeth. And they're fish eaters. All crocodilians eat mostly fish, like 70% of their diet is fish. But this crocodile, I think, is 100% or very close to 100% fish. That's what they eat. They keep in the water more than any other crocodile. They almost never go on land. And Hashem gave them their eyes way up on top of their head, and the nostrils are at the very tip of the long, slender snout. So they can stay in the water, pretty much camouflaged, and be able to see and to be able to breathe. And they're totally designed for life in the water. Their body is slender. The toes and the back feet are webbed for swimming. There's 3 pictures here. One of them is just sitting there in the water by the bank. The bottom 2 pictures, one of them is a little baby coming out of its egg. And you see it already has all its teeth. And the other one has it with its mouth open. You see the teeth. They have 110 teeth. I think that's more teeth than any animal has. The gharial likes to live in fast-flowing rivers with high banks and clear water and deep pools where there are lots of fish. They have you can see in your pictures, they have narrow beak-like snouts, long, thin teeth that are designed for grabbing fish that they catch by moving their head, the narrow head back and forth sideways and grabbing the fish. Their sharp teeth interlock, and they can trap and impale, meaning they dig in to the flesh of the fish, so they can't get away. Their teeth are all the same size, or close to it. All 110 of them. They also have this very strange thing that the scientists are not sure what it's for even. It's called a gara, which is why it's called a gharial. And what it is it looks something like a little pot on the tip of its nose. The males have it, not the females. And I don't know. They're guessing what it's for. Some of them think it's used for a mating call that resonates the sound more to attract the females, or maybe it's just an ornament to attract the female. I mean, I don't know if it looks like an ornament, but maybe it does to a female gharial. The color of their body is grayish brown, and which is very good camouflage in the muddy rivers that it lives in, even though before we said they like clear rivers. So, it's a bit of a problem when I do the research for these things. I can read this book and that book, and sometimes they'll say the opposite things. and I don't have. Sometimes I have a third book that'll put it all together, but sometimes I don't. Anyway, they also have an armor of bony plates on their back and neck, and their favorite food is catfish. And it's an interesting thing. When the numbers of gharials went down, the numbers of catfish went way up, because they're big eaters of catfish. Now the problem with catfish being too many is that they like to eat tilapia. And tilapia fish is the fish that the people who live in those lands in India, that's one of their favorite foods. So they were very upset when there was too few gharials and too many catfish. So I don't know what they did about it, but in any case, there should be a lot of gharials. And they can move their jaws so fast because they're thin and light that they can catch the fastest fish. And sometimes what they'll do is when they catch a fish, they will flip it up in the air and turn it upside down to gulp it down head first, so the gills don't get caught in their throat. We got two pictures here. The top is a male gharial, and the bottom is a female gharial. So if you look closely, you can see that the female looks a little bit more feminine than the top one, and the male on the top one has this strange growth on the tip of its nose, the gara. Baruch Hashem, we've now finished all the crocodilians, and now for next Shabbos, Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to begin snakes. Interesting snakes that Hashem made with great chokhmah and great yicholos, and even chesed. Good Shabbos.